Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kristen Weardon Show. Today's guest embodies the spirit of perseverance, innovation, and, well, all about skin. Today we have Jonathan Sigg with us today from the Laser Lounge. How are you today, Jonathan?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
You have such a busy schedule, so I know having you here today is a treat for myself as well as the audience.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Great. So first, I want to jump in, and I want to start with we're just going to go chronologically, I think.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started during a time when the rest of the world was like, what are we going to do with our jobs? What are we going to do with our business? And that was during the downturn of the economy in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yes.
over in Ostero, you said, I'm going to open a business.
In so many words, yes, we did. We were thinking of, what else could we get into that's in medicine? My background was emergency medicine. I'd been doing that for 10 years and big burnout, really had enough of it. So I thought, what in medicine do I like to do? And I realized it was the hands-on detail type of thing. So suturing and whatnot, that was what I liked. So in medicine, what could I do? We came across a gentleman I was going to at the time during the recession that was doing laser hair removal when I was doing some on my neck. And one day I go to his office there to have my procedure done, and his doors are locked. He's closed. So I call him up and I'm like, Corey, what's going on? What happened here? He said, I can't do it anymore. It's everything is bad. Everything is slow. And so I asked him, what are you doing with this laser that you have that's using my neck? So I would like to finish my treatments. He says, it's sitting in my closet. I said, let's talk. So we sat down and talked and wrote up a contract together that we would take the laser for him for $500. We'd pay him $500 a month. We wrote this in a restaurant on a napkin, our contract initially. And then in 6 months, we'd evaluate and see how we're doing, how we're growing, is it working. Did it during this time, and of all different types of things we get into businesses, there's something called the lipstick effect. And the lipstick effect goes back actually to the Great Depression. And this showed that women, no matter what their financial status was, they would find money to buy their lipstick. They'd find money to buy their pantyhose. So the Maybellines of the world, the companies that were making these products, their stocks or prices never went down. They did okay. So people would put lipstick on before they'd put bread on their table. And so then in our industry, we thought, what could get through such a tough time like this, and realized people care about how they look. They care about, if I want to do a laser, if I want to get an injection, anything about my skin, that was the way to go to medicine. And it proved to be true.
Oh, okay. That I did not know that people that statistic, but it kind of makes sense because when you think of wartime, and you think of the Depression, and you think of different economic situations throughout the world and in our country, yeah, those companies stayed in business.
They all stayed in business. Again, when you think about what makes you feel good, you can have the worst, everything going on in your life. But if I feel like I look good, if my hair looks good, if my skin looks good, it makes you feel better inside. And hence why Botox today is one of the #1 antidepressants. There's been studies in that showing now that people that get their Botox are happier than people that don't, because you look in the mirror, you look good, you feel good, and everything else seems better.
And see, I think when people feel like they look good and they do feel better, that there's people who criticize that because it's, oh, you shouldn't care about how you look and things like that. And I'm like, listen, forget what I do for a living, that I have to be on camera and things like that. But if you don't feel good about yourself, and it might be superficial to some, but to that person, it might not be superficial. What you do for yourself might be completely different.
Exactly. And it can be as simple as something as putting on some lipstick. Getting my eyelashes done, right?
Yeah.
Buying a particular eyeliner that I like that normally you couldn't afford. You did that, you feel better, even if you don't, the whole rest of the world maybe doesn't even notice it.
Right.
It makes you feel good when you look in the mirror.
Right, right. No, I totally subscribe to that philosophy. And again, it's not
proven.
Just because I've experienced it too.
Yeah.
It is proven. And you can see it in women on a daily basis. I know when we've done makeovers on women, that afterwards they didn't think that they, their hair or their skin or whatever. And when they reach that part, I see it with dermatology too, where they get their skin to a point where it's not all this acne breakout and stuff like that, that all of a sudden they're like, oh, I can put makeup on. I can look in the mirror and I'm not hiding my face all day.
The confidence level goes up. They feel better about themselves.
Veneers is another one.
There's a number of things so you can think about.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally subscribe to that. So you also, you are a negotiator too, because during that time, You ended up in an empty strip center or something?
Again, it was the recession, right? So we thought, well, we got to deal in this laser. So now we have a laser device we paid $500 for, right? So now we got to put it in a place. So
And
we
get
looked
people in?
to get, you got to have a place to land this thing. I couldn't do it out of my car. That'd be nice, but that wasn't going to work, or my house for that matter. So we needed a shop somewhere. We needed to be a place that we could build this little thing out. So either way, went to a strip center that was nearby in Estero, and he had at the time, there was maybe 10 units in there, and I believe 2 of them were occupied. So much of it was empty, and there was nobody knocking on his door to come in there. So we went to the owner of the strip center and said, you know, look, we would like to put something in there, but we have nothing to give you right now. But I will put up a sign, and people will see that, hey, something's happening here. At least there's some activity. And I said, we'll put a business in there. So I need some free rent. He offered us 8 months through free rent to do that. So within that time, we were able to very quickly do a build out, which to this day, we don't tell the city of Estero because we didn't pull any permits. My wife and I, we took a Home Depot credit card. We had a $20,000 limit on it, and we charged out to buy our build-out materials, and we built it out at night, actually, under lights, and did the whole construction. And then one day,
still working.
I was still working, yes. So my background, emergency medicine. So the first 4 years of our business, I worked in the ER at nights. So in our first location we had there in the very back, nobody knew I had that. I had a little bed back there. And I would work nights 12 hours. I'd come to the spa, see my people, and in between patients, I would take a nap and then get up and do it again. For 4 years straight, we did that for them. So we got into the space, built it out, and next thing you know, the spa was open, and we were able to get an occupancy permit because nobody was inspecting things at the time because things were so slow, recession. So therefore, we got in there, and our doors are open with a $500 laser and a $20,000 credit card.
Wow. That is 4 years of that is true grit and perseverance for sure.
It was not by any means easy. At the beginning, again, this was my wife and I, we started this together, and she knows I have a lot of harebrained ideas, and she stuck it out with me with this one. But it was basically her and I running it. We're answering the phones. At night, we're cleaning the floors, make appointments, do checkouts, all of that. It was just her and I for about the first year that we ran the whole business before we could actually hire our first employee.
And you have children at this time too.
Yeah, so two
small
two
children.
children, 2 small children at the time also, yes. Yeah.
So juggling.
It was a lot, yes. But again, that's where, you know, the drive and the perseverance kind of comes in. We saw a dream, we saw an opportunity, and
sure.
our big passion with this was, our saying in the beginning was, where all of our clients are beautiful, and beauty doesn't have to be expensive. So we didn't like the competition in the area, charging, you know, thousands of dollars to do hair removal your underarms. We came in at $400, just lowballed, and we said, does not have, this should be available to more people at a better price. And that today is still our mantra. We are still cheaper than everybody in town. It's not because we've decreased our quality of service, but we do it more in volume, and we want to make it more affordable to the masses.
I think that where we live, it lends itself to things seeming like they're always going to be expensive if you try
Agreed.
to go for it.
Yes, yes.
And you don't buy into that philosophy, and I think that's why your business, well, I know for me, has been so successful.
It's interesting because we've had a number of people that come in and they question why our prices are where they are. So we have locations in Naples too. I'm like, oh, that can't be right. You know, this isn't, shouldn't, there must be something shady going on. We're like, no, this is what it should be. You've just always paid too much for it. So yes, it is sometimes difficult in this area, but we have still stuck to that. We want to be affordable for the masses, not just for here, and give you all the same wonderful service.
And you've expanded.
Yes.
I mean, you have multiple locations. It's 16,
We're
is
at
it still?
16 now, and we have 2 more in the works that should open up within the next probably 6 months.
So right there is another labor of love, perseverance moment, because franchising things out is a whole nother, I want to say, level of business, dealing with partners, dealing with other people. I mean, did you franchise them out? Are you like, where are we at with that? Because
Yeah,
I'm trying to follow along.
That's okay. So it looks like a franchise. So franchise is a little bit tricky because it's different state by state, and we knew we wanted to be not just in Florida. So you have to get licensed to be franchised in every state. So instead we do these like associate stores. It looks like a franchise.
Okay.
It feels like a franchise. There's a buy-in to it, and then there's, you know, dues and whatnot that they pay for it. But then we just repeat the model. We did that because we knew our expansion was only going to happen that way. We're not going to keep growing with my wife and I doing everything and hiring an employee there. And we realized we had a good model. So the first person that came to us knocked on our door and said, "Can I do this?" Thought, yeah, we could show you how to do this. And we have never marketed for franchises since. Every store we have that has come to us has been by people asking us, "Can I do this?"
Well, you've got the duplication down,
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
16 models. And
Yeah.
now you're also expanding internationally. Is that the plan?
Yes, next year. It was hopefully this year, but there's some, again, new regulations that we learn when you leave this country that just like state by state, countries gets to be different, would be outside of Frankfurt, Germany. That's would be our next location that will be, that'll truly make us international. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations. I
Yeah,
love that
thank
for
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love that. Now, how do you balance all that with, you had started off 2 small children. You have 3 now?
3 children now.
Three,
Yes.
three
Yes.
now.
Yes.
So how do you balance these years of business and now expansion and your family?
So and that's a if I had the magic answer to that, I'd give it to you. But what we learned from beginning when we wanted to grow was delegation. You
Mm.
have to learn to delegate, and you have to learn to let things go, right?
Mhm.
So from the beginning, nobody washed the floor like I did. Nobody answered the phone like I did.
Mhm.
But I wasn't going to grow by washing floors, answering phones, and doing procedures at the same time. You have to be willing to let things go. And so slowly we let things go, where from beginning, my wife and I, we knew the computer systems, we knew the checkouts, we knew every aspect of the business. I'm lucky if I know 40% of the
Yeah.
business now because we've given it to enough people now that take on these different tasks for us. So that was the key to the balance, so that I could have some family time and whatnot and not just be working,
All the
15
time.
hours a day.
Yeah.
So
It's letting go some of that control when I talk.
difficult to do.
Yeah.
Very difficult to do. But you have to do it if you're going to grow, no matter what business you're in.
Yeah, I find that a lot when I have business people in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
They say there's just some things that you have to understand, that you've given your employees the power to do X, Y, or Z.
Exactly.
And
And you have to trust. And you make mistakes and bad things happen, but you learn from that and you're cautious next time, but you have to let go of some things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a lesson that I think is a little bit hard for entrepreneurs, because a lot of these things are their babies.
Exactly. And that's what makes, because nobody does it like you, right?
Right.
Your business too. Nobody will do it like you. So
Yeah, no, I get that.
yeah.
I get that. Now you have your staff, and when I go in there,
Mm-hmm.
it's like family. They're every time I've been to both Naples and Estero,
Mm-hmm.
and when you go in there, there's just this atmosphere, and your employees seem so happy. So you've created you've cultivated a culture inside
Yes.
there. So tell me how that, because you have a lot of employees now.
Yes.
So tell
Yeah.
me how you grew that, because going from ER medicine
Mm-hmm.
is a whole different culture
Definitely.
to creating your own culture inside a spa type business.
Yes, yes. And it's interesting when you mentioned going from an ER hospital setting to this, where people come in and they have their problems and you just want to get through it. This people are electively coming in to do, right? They're
Mhm.
paying cash typically for it.
Right.
It's a whole different way how you have to treat people as opposed to you're going to your dentist or your primary doctor and you're giving them an insurance card.
Mhm.
So that level has to be of service has to be that much higher. Our staff, again, with everything that April and I always were about, where this is the golden rule. We were both taught that way, actually. Treat others as you want to be treated. It's a really simple rule to follow, right? So if I'm in that position, if I meet you at the front desk, how would I want to be treated? Talk to me that way. If I'm a customer, and whatnot, how would I want to be treated? And so we walked through every position in the office and said, here's how I want to be treated. And then we trained our staff that way. Our staff gets it, but we also treat them as employees the same way too. If I were an employee, how would I want to be treated? So by doing that, that reflects to our customers too. So a lot of people don't see behind the scenes is how we treat our staff and the love we show for them, what we do for them. We just bought 3 of our employees new cars to drive for business and whatnot, and just the tears to see how happy they were.
Yeah.
But it'll benefit us also, but now I get even a happier employee, right? And you get dedicated employees that want to stay with you. We have employees been with us over 10 years now.
Wow.
That's tough to find in this industry, and these are people that started when they were 20 years old. So it's treat others as you want to be treated. That's what we followed from day one. We always talk about if there's a bad apple, it's gone. Don't get me wrong, it does happen. But we do no drama in our practice whatsoever. It's not a hair salon, unfortunately, or fortunately. So for that reason, if there's one bad seed in there, we're moving on. We're not going to let that happen.
What is it? Quick to hire, quick to fire?
Unfortunately, we have
Yeah.
to do that at times, but
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to do it.
Right. Well, if you cultivate a culture, if you have a culture within your business
Yes.
that is caring about the employee, there is a level that they do have to give back. And if it's
Yes.
not going to happen, you can't expect as an employee to get all the perks that of a good employer if you're not going to be the good employee.
Exactly.
And there is,
Exactly.
I feel a little bit of that going on right now.
Hmm.
I see what some of my other entrepreneur friends when they're in the hiring phases, and they're like, what is going on?
Yes. Right.
I saw one that she called into work because she couldn't find a parking spot. And you're like, the customer's still going to, the client's going to
They
still be
are.
here today.
They are.
So you need to be here. What do you
It's
can't find a parking spot?
yeah.
Like, what?
I
How,
get it.
and
Yeah.
so there's a little bit of a I almost want to say like a post-COVID thing going on, because it seems like people that were at home working for a couple of years,
Hmm.
and that was their first job experiences,
Yes.
are having to play kind of catch up on how the real world works.
That you have to go in sometimes. Yes.
Exactly.
And
You
be
have
on
to,
time. And
well, and in your
yeah,
business, you definitely can't do
you
remotely.
cannot. There's no remote there. No. Yeah.
There's no remote
You
Botox.
got to show up. Exactly. And we joked about during COVID, if you drive your car up, we'll come out and come to your window, and you don't have to get out of your
Yeah.
car.
So,
But yeah, that's not going to happen. So.
No, that's funny. So what did you do during that time?
We're fortunate in the state that we live in, where we had a little more flexibility as far as what we could do. Medicine, we fall under the Board of Medicine because we're
Okay.
medical treatments. If it was considered a medical necessity that you could stay open, we were closed for 3 weeks. And that was
Okay.
it. And then we opened up again. Now we were with masks and whatnot.
Right.
Now people say, well, that's not a medical necessity. So my argument is Botox is an antidepressant. So therefore, this to me is a necessity, and nobody ever challenged it. So we were able to open right back up. We kept going. We took all the precautions that we needed to
Yeah.
take, but surprisingly, a lot of our numbers went up during COVID. Our numbers were better than a lot of the industries around. And it's funny, one of the things that we had seen was people were on their Zooms and their Skypes and whatnot, and they look at themselves in the mirror. They see themselves and they say, every time I do this, I don't like this. You got to do something. Or I see this. And I'm like, you just keep staying in front of that camera, okay?
Yeah.
Because you're finding your flaws. And I can't tell you how many people came in because they didn't like how they looked in that. And
they never saw that before.
they never saw that before. So opened a whole new window of people that would never have come in or done all the services they did with us during COVID.
Wow. And they had the time because they were working from home.
They were working from home, yes.
Or on limited schedules.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah.
So
I never thought of that, because I guess I've used the camera for so long that or been in front of it, that I'm always criticizing it.
Exactly. And when you're seeing yourself, then you're really critical.
But if you haven't seen yourself like that
Right.
on a regular basis,
Like, what is
that's
that?
interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So on the day-to-day operations, you're there,
Yes.
but you have other people who do the day-to-day operations.
The business
I guess,
side
the
of
business
yes,
side.
yes.
So what was the challenge in hiring them besides they weren't you?
So the challenge was, again, is the people, right? So our business is very much, and we open any store, we base it again on very simple model of 3: product, process, people. Okay. So we have to have the right product. We know we have that. We've got a good process. People is always the trickiest one. And I think, in any business, really. So it's finding good people. We looked initially for people that wanted to grow with us over time, this was not just a job for today. So we have a lot of incentives we do for that, for bringing people on. We were very fortunate when it came to the spa industry. The local college here, Florida Gulf Coast University, has a program in their School of Hospitality that is a base of spas, of day spas.
Oh.
So you can actually get a degree in hospitality with a minor in spa services management. We jumped right on that, right? I have 4 staff members that are graduates of that program. They have a bachelor's degree in spa management. So we'd bring them in as interns initially. They'd spend, part of their semester with us learning, and then if we liked them, we hired them on. So we were able to get some very smart people that knew this industry well from the business side. And then from there, it was finding good providers that were good at what they did. So that really helped out tremendously as far as getting good staff to start. They helped to train. And from there, then we built basically a corporate team. So real simple, every one of our stores has a manager. We have a corporate manager oversees them. So if there's an issue, you go to your manager. If your manager can't, so they go to corporate manager. If that can't do it, then it hits my desk, basically, or April's desk. So we like to not let it get to that point.
I'm sure they don't want it to get to that point.
Yeah, a lot of stuff doesn't. So we're fortunate with that.
But that's what good staff, good management is about.
Yes.
Is probably problem solving for the customer, so it doesn't get to the upper management
Exactly.
part.
That's exactly
And I
right.
did not know that our university here had that. What a great
Really neat.
boon for the
It's
industry
one
and
of a
for
handful in the
yourself.
country actually that has that
Really?
program. Yeah, they had their own med spa in there, a model that you walk through, and they learn in this and how to take care of people, and very
That's
interesting. Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
I knew
yeah.
we had the golf thing here.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Right, right. Would you expect
But
that? But
it kind of makes sense though, because this industry, at least as a customer standpoint, has really grown from Botox
yes,
and laser hair to everything.
exactly.
I
Yes.
mean, if you can think about it, it can probably be done.
And you think hospitality, a lot of it was for hotel type stuff, management, and in that area, but not in our industry. So that's a little subside they did there.
Yeah,
So
that whoever
yeah,
created that, that was brains.
we've taken advantage of it. So it's been nice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, I think
Right.
for the whole industry, because people, I know I've seen some really successful spas like yourself over the years here in other towns, but I've seen some, and unfortunately, they had a great idea,
Yes.
you know, or maybe the owner might have been a personable person,
Yes. Right.
but hiring people,
That,
they maybe didn't know about that program.
exactly. Right. 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 So
And
when you
they,
get people that really want to do this for a living, that makes it easier too, right?
right,
You
because
can,
they
they went
already
to
know.
college for it, right?
They
They knew they wanted to be in
they
this.
put their
So
money into that education already.
exactly. So they're passionate
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I've seen the turnover in some of them too, and I don't see that in yours. I'm not just trying to toot their horn
It's okay.
because I go
It's
there.
the
I'm telling you, there
we
you,
have so low turnover. We really do. Very low turnover.
I
So
see the same faces
yeah.
when I go, and I'm like, oh wow, hi,
Yeah.
I saw you last time.
Yeah. Right.
That's nice.
Yeah. We watched a lot of their kids grow up, and
Oh,
they've
that's
not
nice.
gone anywhere.
So you have like a family now,
We do,
really.
and it's corporate wide like that. It really is. This weekend we have a national symposium to do. That's going to be in Sarasota, and we will have 100 or so that will be there, gathering together. And they get together, and you would think it's a family reunion. I'm not kidding. Everybody just gets along, and everybody kind of knows everybody, and it's just a wonderful feeling. But like you said in the beginning, it's a culture. It's building that from day one. And when people see that you enjoy what you do, and people see that you want to be treated like you are treated, then it grows. It really does. It can be something repeated and replicated very easy, but you have to show them that.
Yeah, no, and it starts with the top, with you and April.
Yes, I'd say it does.
You both have a great relationship that when you talk to your employees, when you work with your employees, and you both love what you do, it does have that trickle down, feel good, love what we do feeling.
Yeah.
And I also think it repels people who aren't there for the right reasons.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because
Yes,
your
yes.
energy about how you're doing it, for those who believe in energy,
Right.
I believe in energy. What you put out was what you get back. So what you're putting out, that's the employee you're getting back.
Definitely, definitely. And showing them too, as this growth occurs, I want you to grow with me too. I jokingly tell our staff when I hire them all, I said, just FYI, you know, if I'm driving a Lamborghini, which I don't, if I'm driving a Lamborghini, you're not driving a Kia, okay? If I'm driving, you're driving a Porsche or something nice. It may not be a
Mercedes
Lamborghini.
or something,
But
yeah.
point is, again, if I'm doing well, you will be doing well too.
Yeah.
And they see that and they realize, look, it's not just about paying this company, these people over, and they make more. And we work so hard here. If I do well, we're all going to do well. And that's what we show our employees.
I think employees appreciate that once they see it. I think there are some that feel like they've been burned other places with other incidents or
Yes.
industries. And I think you're one of the many guests I've had on. I'm fortunate, again, maybe energy I put out, that people who sit in that chair from the business entrepreneur side have the same philosophy with their employees. They want to have a happy employee, but it's a shared experience. It's a shared wealth.
Yes.
You know.
Yep. They will take better care of you.
Yes.
They will take care of your business, your customers, even down, I can tell you, down to the finances. You know, we're a business that does a lot of cash because people bring in cash and pay. I've never worried about is someone going to take cash out of there, because a big part of it is I feel like they don't want to disappoint us.
Yeah.
That they want to trust, they want that trust to be there, and it's always never been an issue.
two-way.
So
It's
exactly,
two-way.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
So it's
two-way.
very much about respect. Yeah.
Respect is huge as an
Yes.
entrepreneur,
Yes.
and in a corporate structure too, because I've had people from the corporate structure, and when they're talking to me and they're talking about their culture and stuff that they're creating, it's a lot of respect. I respect my employees, and I give them that respect.
Exactly.
I give them the chance to grow or learn, like you do,
Yes.
because you do in your. My next question.
Yeah, it's okay.
In your Estero
Yeah.
location, you do a lot of training, right?
Yes, yes.
And people come in but to
Yes.
train with you
Hmm.
from other parts of the
All
world, the
parts of the
country.
world, the country, even other med spas that aren't ours, that aren't owned by us.
Yeah.
We typically train within our circle of people within our company. So it's one of the advantages to joining with our company. So if you said, I want to open a med spa, if you join with us, you get all the training.
All the
But we will
training.
also let people, they pay a fee, they come in and train with us too. So lasers, for example, we're one of 11 certified locations to train in lasers in the state of Florida. Only 11 in the whole state, and it's a state-run program. In Southwest Florida, there's only 2 companies that can do that. So with that, we have people that will come in and we'll go train you and do this for you too. So yes, it's all about learning what's the latest and
Yeah.
greatest. My wife and I fly to Korea in 2 weeks, South Korea, to go to their national med spa show there just to learn what's new, what's coming up that hasn't even touched this country yet. You got to stay ahead of the curve.
Definitely. And we talked about this on a previous conversation that you do a lot of training in Korea. You learn the threads and things like that. Tell me
Yes.
about how did you find that and how is it going there?
Yeah.
I would love to learn more about that.
Yeah. So again, it's interesting. We are the United States in our industry in the med spa and the aesthetic industry makes up about 70% of the industry for the whole world, right?
Oh,
But yet we are so far behind. We're not the cutting edge. We're realistically with Asia upwards of 8 to 10 years behind what they're doing. And a lot of it has to do with FDA regulations,
okay.
pharmaceutical companies. We don't have a lot of the products they have
Mm.
because they have to be branded here and they have generic everything over there. So basically, again, if you want to be ahead of the curve, you have to know what they're doing. Again, the volumes that I do with my services, again, I'm not just, running a company, I also provide a lot of
Yes.
services. So I am a very large volume provider in most of my services. So the vendors recognize this. So the one we're doing in South Korea is actually an entire trip sponsored by one of my vendors that comes from South Korea. So I'm fortunate to get in these positions. We have one of our product lines too, which is a ZM and Radius, a Botox filler type product. That world headquarters is in Raleigh, North Carolina. They approached us 3 years ago and said, please put one of your spas in our world headquarters. They have 40,000 accounts. So one of my locations is in the front door of the world headquarters. Training there like you wouldn't believe. It's wonderful. So we get first, in on what comes in, what happens, what's new, what's cutting edge. So we've been fortunate, but a lot of it has to do with our size and our growth. That people like, hey, how do you do this? How do you want to do? How would you do this? And sending us devices all around the world. Just received a new camera system from Korea last week, and I'm like, I don't even know, this doesn't even plug into my wall. It says has a different kind of outlet, but I'll try it and let you know what I think of it. It's nice because it allows us to be on the cutting edge of what's out there.
Well, it also goes to the quality of service you give. For to have somebody invite your company in to be
Hmm.
part of, the front door of their company
Yes,
says that you offer a quality of service versus some people who just you do a lot of volume,
yes,
but
yes.
it's all quality volume.
And that's the trick, keeping it at a quality level. Yes,
Well,
yeah.
you do. Yeah,
So,
you work a lot. I
yes,
know
yeah.
because just getting an appointment with you can be difficult, but it's worth it at the same time. And all your providers, I will say, I mean, it's not just about
It's
you. Your other providers are all the training. I mean, it's just the information. You ask a
yes.
question, you ask this question, and you get the whole information, not just the answer,
It's
which
it's
is
a
nice.
passion, which is what we look in our staff too. But I think it's also very important for any business owner, and what we've learned in this industry too. You can be a jack of all trades and a master of none, right?
Yes.
And so that's so important because a lot of our competitors, they offer everything under the sun, from
Yeah.
teeth whitening to obviously plastic surgery. You name it, they're doing it. Body stuff. We're very hyper focused on what we do, but we're the best at it then. So our providers, you're going to run this laser and that's all you do. But you will be able to turn that thing on with your eyes closed and do someone's face and not have to look back.
Yeah.
Where someone else would have to look at the settings in a book.
Yeah.
So either way, we're very focused on what we do and we make sure our people are the best at that.
Right. Right. And so you didn't veer off into these other avenues just to stay focused in that.
It's difficult because anymore things have become so competitive, right?
Yeah.
So as you may or may not know, there's Botox and facial fillers and lasers on every corner between
Yes.
basically Fort Myers and Marco Island. There are 400 accounts that do what we do.
Oh my gosh.
It's very, very competitive. Fortunately, we are still, known as the ones that kind of started a lot of this. But with that said, when it becomes so diluted, you have to bring some different things on. So we still stay within our realm. We've gotten into a little bit of the weight loss, very trending right now
Right.
with the injections with that. But we don't go too far off of the range, you could say. We really want people to know we're about aesthetics, laser, skincare, looking good, feeling good.
Well, for me, I want the guy who does the training on the
Yes.
thing whatever the service is.
Right.
I want the person who does the training to the other people because I figure he knows
He should know how to, exactly.
Right. And so
right.
I remember when we talked about threads,
Mm-hmm.
and then I found out you did the training. I don't know if it was you or one of your staff told me, and I was like, well, that's the guy I want.
Yeah.
Other people ask him to go train on their people. That's what I want.
That's
because
right.
to me, threads, for those of you who know, I have had some threads. I'm not going to lie. But for me, I was like, you're poking something in my skin.
Right.
I want to know that you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Because I only get one of these.
That's exactly right.
And if something goes awry, it's going to go bad.
Yes.
Quickly.
Yes.
And I don't want that.
100%.
I mean, I know things can happen to every practice.
Right.
But to have the person who does the training as well as the customer or the client.
And that is doing it on a regular basis, that's kind of what you want.
Yeah,
right?
not every Wednesday, on a Wednesday, once every 3 months. No.
That's exactly right.
And I'm not trying to criticize people opening new businesses, but just be any business.
Mm-hmm.
Get all the training and all the knowledge you can. I don't care if you're scooping ice cream.
Exactly.
If you're opening an ice cream parlor, what are the flavors? What goes into it? It doesn't matter what the business is.
Unfortunately, a lot of consumers anymore can be a little lost in social media, as you can appreciate too. So that's our biggest competitor right now. Somebody has a couple 100,000 followers on social media, and yet they never do what I do. And yet they have this big following, or they do it here and there.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you good. It means you're good at social media, right? Yeah. But that's all that really means. So that's anymore teaching the consumer that, look, these are the ones that teach it and train it and do it all day long. That's who you want to see.
100%. And if you're not sure, get a consultation.
Exactly.
Pay for the consultation. Most people have a way of working that out, paying it back when you get your first service, or just pay for the consultation.
Yes.
I didn't pay for a consultation one time on something, and guess what happened?
Probably something bad.
Went awry.
Yes.
It went awry. It was a new person.
Yeah.
And it sounded all good on the phone, and I talked to them, and I went in straight to the procedure instead of straight to the consultation.
Right.
And I had to double back. So if you're not sure, pay for the consultation.
So what made you not do that consultation first?
I think I felt a little pressured on time because they were never available.
Okay, so they must have been good because they were never available, right?
Right.
So you have to trust there.
So there was a level of trust there.
Yes.
But post-procedure is when I found out, oh no.
No, I shouldn't have done this.
No, when my assistant picked me up,
Right.
she was like, holy cow, we didn't get the paper, after procedure papers.
Yeah.
No talk. Usually when you go in for a procedure, you go under. They're going to give you a paper
let you
and
know
talk to you before you go under.
Not after.
Not after.
Lesson learned, right? I won't judge you on that. Okay.
No, and you know what? We all make mistakes. It didn't go super awry, but I had to go back and revision and things like that.
Yes.
And it was like, And ever since then, I've said, how much is a consultation? I'll take it.
I'll do it.
It doesn't matter what it is.
In this world of medicine, whether it's doing aesthetics or doing a shoulder, right?
Yes.
You go to the guy that does a lot of it, right? So when I was in the emergency room, people come in and say, I want the doctor to start my IV. I'm like, no, you don't.
No.
You want the nurse or the phlebotomist, even better yet, right? Go to the one who does it all the time.
Yeah.
In our industry too, right? You don't, no offense against any plastic surgeon in town. There's a lot of big names that are awful at injections. And I'm correcting a lot of them because they're not good at it, but they're really good at plastic surgery, right? So if you go to have a new shoulder pin, don't go to the guy who does knees and hips. Go to the guy who does shoulders all day long, right?
It makes sense.
That's everything within medicine.
But you are right. You are competing with social media.
Very much so. Very much so,
yeah,
yes.
For sure. So what on the international scale are you hoping after Germany? Do you want to have a presence there? Is this just, you think, a small idea?
Yeah, well,
I already think I know the answer.
I don't think small, first of all. And my staff is like, what's next, Jonathan? What are you thinking now? And I can tell you that a couple of things that work, people are going to be like, what is that all about?
Yeah.
The international thing was another one where this actually MD from Germany came to us and said, I would like to do this with you. So it wasn't us approaching or looking for them.
Right.
So we figured we could try this one and see how it works. The thing is, once you get past the difficult stage of legal things and laws and whatnot, and you make one work, then it's easier to repeat, right? Okay. So if we can get through this first one, then we know at least in Germany we could repeat this over and over. And then we'll look at other countries too. Yeah. But we're not pursuing this because we want people that come to us and want to be passionate about it. I'm not going to knock on your door and say, it's going to cost this much. Hey, would you like, okay, maybe I'll think about it. No, you come to me and say, I really want to do this. I know you really want to do this then because I'm not looking for you.
If they take the effort to come to you.
Exactly.
And have a map and an idea or a place, They have the pre-work done.
Yes,
You can
yes.
tell they're interested. They're not just
Very
saying,
much
I
so.
want to be a part of Laser Lounge.
Our industry, again, is not like flipping hamburgers, right? It's a very skilled labor. So that means that you can, and this happens too on a monthly basis, you can come to me and say, I've got, $500,000. Can you open me a store or two? Okay, well, who's going to do this, 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 this? Well, I don't have anybody. I just want to invest. Like, I'm not interested. I don't
It's
need
not
your
that
money
kind
for
of
that.
business.
I need the people. I need good people. If you can come to the table with some of that, then we'll talk. And those are the kind of people I always look for, and those ones that always succeed. That's why our stores don't close, because we get the right people. So
Yeah. No, that when you find somebody who's passionate about what they do and they come to you,
yes,
that shows their level of interest, and then you take it to the next level.
exactly.
So then,
Yes.
depending on how that works out on the international scale.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's what we'll see internationally. We have all desire and be fun to expand to that. I would never say no to it, but I'm not going to chase it. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's great to be in that position also, but at the same time, it's, you're doing well where you are. You have a good clientele.
Yeah.
You have opened 16.
Yes.
So, it's not like you have to,
No,
but if there's the
no.
interest, you're willing. So the door's open.
I think like you, Kristen, I'm driven to just keep going. I can't stop. And I know how you work too, and I just can't stop. So.
If I sit home all day, I can't, I'm like looking for this, I'm looking for that, I'm doing that, I'm looking for guests, whatever it might be.
Yep.
And even yesterday, I had an opening.
Yeah.
And I said, I can have an hour off,
Mm-hmm.
or I can fill the spot.
And you're thinking, I got to fill this spot.
I got to fill the spot.
I hear you.
I got to fill the spot. And I actually took in 5 bios yesterday
Mm-hmm.
and booked somebody.
Okay.
Because I said, I'm not going to have a blank hour.
No.
I'm all dressed up. I got the makeup done. We're going to do this.
I might as well do it. Same
and
thing too.
When I got you in, in this time slot, I was like, oh, I was so happy because I know we've been trying to get you in.
Yeah.
But that goes to you value your family, you value your work, and then when you have time, you'll do the other things.
And the challenge is always fun too, right? So again, when other people aren't necessarily doing it and they're not succeeding at it, or someone says that can't be done, or how would you do that? That's even more drive for me. Then I want to show them, yes, we can do that. And I will find a way to do it. And I think that's a lot of our success too.
I love that entrepreneurial spirit. I love that.
Tell me I can't do it. I'm going to show you. I will do it. So go ahead and tell me.
So before we wrap up, what aspiring, we have these aspiring entrepreneurs that sometimes tune into our show. Hopefully you all tune in more than I think you do. And what advice would you give them? I mean, you started with, like you said, free rent for 8 months, a $500 laser, and a Home Depot credit card.
Right.
So when somebody wants to start something, they want to start a business, a spa business, maybe another business, what advice would you give them on the get-go?
I would say, again, from the get-go, what really made us take that leap of faith was weighing risks and benefits, and really what is my greatest risk, right? So the greatest risk of starting a business, any business, and our business too, was it is not going to work, right? It failed. Yeah. Okay, what if it fails and falls on its face? Okay, well, my wife is an RN. I'm a physician assistant. There's plenty of work out there. I can go pick up a job tomorrow in the hospital yard and do something. Not know what I want to do, but I can start over again. So that was the risk in it. If all fails, I still have a job I can go back to and find something. So anybody wanting to start something new, look at what is the worst thing that can happen. You'll look back one day and be like, I could have done that and I didn't do it, and you're going to kick yourself for it. Or you could look back one day and say, I tried it, didn't work, but at least I tried it. Right? Yeah. I never wanted to be one look back to say, I should have tried it. What could have happened? Some things have failed, don't get me wrong, but obviously the majority have done okay to be where we are today. So take that risk. It'll be worth it. And look at, again, if the bad thing happens, where am I going to land? Probably not as bad as you think you would.
That's what I find a lot, that people they think the risk, the downfall is worse.
There's such a fear
of
that.
Actually going to be.
Yes, I agree.
So that's the entrepreneurial spirit again.
Yes.
As well as making a choice to say, I'm going to take that leap.
Exactly.
And it's scary.
It is.
I mean, I know for me, the couple of times I've done the entrepreneurial thing, it's like, oh, okay.
Right.
Whether it's flipping a house and you're like, oh, that wasn't a cost overrun.
Right. It doesn't always come out perfect.
It doesn't. And maybe I made $50,000 less because there was a mistake on the job.
Right.
But worst case scenario, you got the break even and you go, well, it wasn't for me. Maybe I don't want to do that again.
Exactly.
But I tried it because you don't have that question anymore.
No, right.
I know I've met people with the question later on, and they're 50 years later and they're like, oh, when I
I
was,
wish I would have.
mm,
I didn't do that, and that's never the position I wanted to be in. I want to look
well,
back and say, even at this time in my life, at 52 years old, I could say, I'm content. I took risk. I made, and good things happen, some bad, but for the most part, I'm good, and I'm fortunate and blessed for everything that's come from it.
yeah,
But I wouldn't go back and change it. I'd go do it all again.
mistakes and all, ups and
Mistakes and all.
downs,
You got
everything.
it. You got it. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Well, I thank you so much for being on our show
I
today.
really appreciate you having me. Thank you.
The spirit that you bring to your business, that you bring to the right here now, and your employees. I mean, I love coming in. You do a good job.
We love having you.
Well, and it also goes to, you said, I'm going to try and I'm going to make it work.
Hmm.
But now you have your thing. You're not having somebody else's thing.
Yes.
You're not in the ER anymore doing that grind.
Yes.
And so you're living life on your terms.
100%.
And
And it's interesting because people say, would you gone back to become a medical doctor, a surgeon? No, I have no interest. I'm very content where I'm at. And I'm
Yeah.
proud to say our business has no MD ownership whatsoever. This is all
Really?
PAs, nurses, some business people too. And that's it. Yet we've succeeded in a area of medicine that typically would be, otherwise medically driven.
Yeah.
So it can be done, and take that leap of faith.
Take
Yeah.
the leap of faith. There
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
go. Well, thank you again, Jonathan, for coming on the show. And thank you so much for being here today on the Kristen Weardon Show. For all the information about the Laser Lounge Spa and Jonathan Sigg, you can check out the episode notes below. And I will see you on the next episode of the Kristen Weardon Show. Life is a journey filled with challenges, but those challenges don't have to hold you back. They can be stepping stones to something greater, a life of hope, joy, and purpose. Hi, I'm Kristen Weardon, and my passion is helping you unlock your inner potential. No matter what your past may look like, your past does not need to define your future. Whether you're recovering from a difficult relationship or trying to overcome the challenges of your backstory, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. I offer a range of services tailored to fit your unique needs. Everything from one-on-one coaching, group coaching, to foundation building challenges, and even accountability check-ins. Together, we can create a path that leads you to the future you deserve.